Hey everybody, got another video here for you. So recently I've been thinking about right size tool for the job, and specifically when it comes to saws. And I've got a 10-inch table saw that's not portable, and it's kind of big for this shop. I've got a 7.5-inch circular saw that's good when I need to cut a body blank off of a plank or something like that, but I usually take it outside to do it because once again it's not a very big shop. And then I've got a 2-inch mini table saw for cutting like pickguard material and stuff, but it's not thick enough to cut a 3/4 inch thick plank, like a body blank on one of these thin guitars. So I went looking online for something bigger than a mini and smaller than like a circular, and there isn't a whole lot out there, but I did find this. This is a 4.5 inch, and it has about a 2-inch cutting depth, so it will cut a 2x4 or 2x6 or 2x whatever. And I was looking for something about that big. I'm only going to be cutting 1x, but it's good to be able to go 2x if you have to. So the plan is to take this thing and build a little table for it and turn it into a 4.5 inch table saw. And that's what this video is going to be about. It's going to be ultra simple, kind of like the router table that I built. It's just going to be a tabletop unit designed to like sit right on the desk here, kind of a thing. Maybe 18 inches by 18 inches. As far as like attaching the saw to the table, it looks like I can just get away with cutting a hole this size in the top of the table and then have like 2 fingers sticking out underneath the hole that support this end and go around this lock for the guide, and then one at this end that once again goes around this lock for the guide. And the weight of the saw alone and the balance looks like it ought to be able to just sit down there on the table and not really have to be bolted down or anything. I can always, glue it or screw it or tape it or whatever later if I have to, but so that's the basic plan. Is I'm going to cut out a tabletop about 18 inches square, cut this hole, make these little finger blocks to hold it, and they're going to, since this is much thinner than the plywood at the table, the blocks are going to have to come in and then go up to support this at the correct height. And I'll probably end up using, shim material in order to get that straight. And so, yeah, that's the basic plan. And then just little kind of triangular type legs or something like I had on the router table. And I think that'll do it. And since the first thing I need to do is cut some plywood to do it, I was like, well, heck, why don't I see if I can use this thing to build the table. So that's what I'm going to do. So, measure twice, what is it? Yeah, measure twice, cut once. Fortunately, I cut it too long and not too short, so I gotta make another cut. So, phone ran out of memory, and while I was moving files off of the phone, I took one of these two blocks here and I cut a couple notches in them so that I can take out a notch here to go around this guy on the front of the saw. This will be one of the supports, and this guy back here will be the other support, and it'll just kind of hang on these two things inside that hole. Okay, so I've got my two support blocks here that go at either end of the hole, and I've got them properly notched so that they'll fit around these little things on the saw for the guide locks, I guess you would call it. So next step is I screw them onto the table, and then I need to shim them appropriately so that they'll bring the saw up to the level of the top of the table. Well, it looks like this rear support block is going to be too thick to get up under there correctly and still allow the saw to go down far enough. So I'm going to have to make another one out of some thinner stock. So, 2 screws at 20 mil for the thin piece, and 2 screws at 35 mil for the thicker piece. And now it's time to drill some holes. So these are my quote-unquote shims. I need 15 mil on this end and 18 on this end, and they're close. It sits a little proud at the moment, so I just need to sand them down to fit, sand to fit. So yeah, time for the final adjustment here. So it needed a little more support here at this particular corner, so I ended up putting in another block and a little bit of pick guard material, and got it so that you press on this corner and it doesn't rock down. And so yeah, it's all nice and stable now and level, and time for a test run. Okay, I think that's going to do it for this video. So until the next one, everybody, have a good one.